Greetings, ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to this subscriber replay courtesy of BionicTree. Now, this is going to be an interesting game from my perspective because BionicTree is driving the ISU-152. This is a machine that I don't really like. I've yet to ace mine, despite it being my, I think at the time of recording this, my second most played tank with, I think, around about 300 games in it. But I have never aced it, and I don't really like it. BionicTree is also on the Overlord map, which is a relatively recent addition to the map rotation in the game. It's been around for a little while now, but still relatively recent. And I have no idea what I'm doing on the map still. I really don't have a clue. So put these two together and we'll see what Bionic is going to manage to pull off. He's top tier, I feel I should mention, which with this 152mm death stick is quite an interesting setup, as your 750 alpha damage really hurts and your 289 penetration is very much overkill. That's a rather incautious T-44, and he just took a whole world of pain. Now, Bionic there moved after firing, but he didn't move very far and got spotted. The thing here is that he's not, if I may critique just a little, he's not far enough behind the bushes for their camo rating to remain even when he fires the gun. And when he moved, he reset his own camo net, but he didn't move far enough so that he wasn't going to get shot. So he was actually there a little bit lucky to not take a shell to the face. I think I would have picked one or the other. Either sat where I was and hoped that my camo net was enough until I got spotted, or tried to move behind a building so there was some hard cover between me and anyone who might want to do me any mischief. Anyway, it worked out fine in the end. T-32, is he going to give Bionic a shot at him? Hard to see. It looks like he should have a shot. There we go. Side, front of a T-32. Doesn't look like the shot hit. That's the BL-10 for you, really. But he might have some shots down here to the left, as it looks like the enemy is pushing around here. Now, Bionic is using this as a traditional tank destroyer, if you will, trying to provide supporting fire. I know there's a lot of people who are more aggressive with this machine and try and use the scare factor of the gun more as a thing, if you will. But in order to make that work, I think you need to be very comfortable with the machine, and you also need to be very good. And speaking personally, I'm not really good enough in the ISU, or comfortable enough driving the ISU to make that work. And so I tend to play the ISU like a traditional tank destroyer at the beginning. I mean, in my experience, the armor just doesn't really seem to particularly hold out. Anyway, I'm babbling on, and you know, we're here to see Bionic's game here. Nice shot there into the hull of the T-29, and a bounce. That gun mantlet can indeed give you some bounces, as can the angled plate, mid-plate, if you will. And, you know, when people know there's a BL-10 staring them down, they tend to not want to poke out. Having said that, that Centurion was rather incautious. Scoreline, however, is 3-7. That's a little awkward. So they are pushing on from pretty much every direction across the map. Shot on that Hellcat. Death on that Hellcat. Kill number 2. And you can also see that Bionic here, like myself, doesn't bother loading any premium ammunition because you get basically 290mm with the AP shells on this tank. So premium ammo seems to be, in my opinion, a waste of ammunition. If your shot's going to bounce, it probably would have bounced firing premium anyway because of the angles, so I don't bother. And neither does Bionic. 6-10. Scoreline is still not looking very good. Now we've reached the stage in the game where a lot of these guys are going to be one-shots for Bionic. Usually a tier 8 is a 2-shot, give or take. A tier 6 is a 1-shot. But in this sort of situation, lots of people are going to be one-shots. Going for the KV-85... Well, someone else put a shot in first, but he was already aimed in, so it was worth getting the kill and removing that gun. The KV-85 does get a gun that remains very dangerous still in a tier 8 game. One shot in from the Super Pershing. Presumably Bionic is no longer spotted, otherwise the Super Pershing would have shot him again, but that shot missed. It wasn't the best aimed shot, if we're going to be honest. Ooh, managed to dodge one from the Super Pershing. Aiming in. That one goes into his tracks, and that one finishes off the Super Pershing for kill number 4. And the team has managed to even the scores up rather. It's now only 11-12. Bionic is on 4 kills. The enemy FCM, who was on 4 kills, has gone to a better place, i.e. the garage. And, I mean, the enemy team still have a slight advantage. But then when you look at it, Bionic's team have 2 tier 8s and a tier 6 remaining. The enemy team have 1 tier 8, 1 tier 6 and 2 tier 7s. So this is relatively even. It's certainly a lot more even than it could be, depending on the health of all of the various targets. Now, T-32 over here, oh, Bionic got spotted by someone. That could be a variety of different people. The view range on the ISU is not very good. Conversely, it is very good on the T-32, and quite good on the T-29 and the Tiger P. It's just the Jagdpanzer IV. Basically, the tank destroyers don't get much in the way of view range anymore. Now, the friendly ISU-152 is a one-shot for anyone and their aunt. The Centurion is a one-shot for half of the enemy team, including that T-32. Is that the... Yeah, there's only one T-32 in the game, so that's the guy who Bionic was shooting earlier on, and that left a mark and tracked the guy into the bargain. If he's got any sense, it looked like the track was repaired, so if he's got any sense, that T-32 is going to have moved. He is indeed moving, and then he's sitting there, and Bionic has had time to reload. Alas, BL-10, you shall not have a hit. But the Centurion is able to finish him off. So, that just leaves T-29, Tiger P, and a Jagdpanzer IV, and they were all last spotted on the beach. Generally speaking, guys, the beach on this map, don't bother. It's not a very good location. It's one of those places where you lose... Gravity doesn't work in your favour. You lose gravitational potential energy, if you will. i.e. it's difficult to get off that beach to actually help out on the rest of the map. And so that makes it a pretty poor location to go to. A bit like the beach on the map where I was driving a 110. South Coast. I knew I'd think of it eventually. It's a bit like that. You tend to find that people who go to the beach don't affect the game in the best possible way. Now, Bionic does have a very thin sliver of a shot on that guy, but you will have noticed he is actually starting to run out of ammunition. He's only got 5 rounds of armor piercing remaining, and he only carries 2 HE shells. As do I, although I don't think I've ever actually fired them. Doesn't want to take that shot without fully aiming, and there's a Tiger P to occupy his attentions. So this is slightly awkward now, because if he turns towards the Tiger P, the Jagdpanzer IV can pop out and shoot him. Whereas there is actually hard cover between him and the Tiger. Having said that, the Jagdpanzer IV is... Oh, that was a bad mistake. I'm not interested in popping out while Bionic's looking at him, I was going to say, but he does indeed pop out. Bionic is not ready to shoot him, he was looking somewhere else. And there we go. Jagdpanzer IV makes a terrible mistake and dies. Tiger P is now a one-shot for BionicTree, and the T-29 is a potential one-shot, but a more likely two-shot. And Bionic still at this stage has some health to work with. So there we go. T-29... Oh, if he's just giving his turret, this could be awkward. Tiger P is a much better shot and would take a gun out of the game. Somehow, Bionic actually bounces around from the T-29. Why does my ISU armor never work like this? And shots into the side of the T-29's turret are now unlocked. Front of the turret on the T-29, very, very strong. Side of the turret, not so much. Still pretty strong, but not capable of bouncing a 152mm shell from this gun. That was the game. Let's go and have a look at those results. So that was actually an ace tanker for Bionic, fire for effect, bruiser, high caliber, and a top gun. As I say, I've never aced my ISU, and I'm not very good on the Overlord map, so Bionic managed to make both of those points work, where I have previously failed. If we look at the team score, it's pretty conclusive, if you will. This game on the friendly team was carried by Bionic and the friendly Centurion. Centurion, XAO? EXAOH by the look of it. He managed 3,098 damage, 1,456 assistance damage, 2,085 damage blocked with his armor, 1,308 base experience, picked up steel wall. That was a very, very nice game from him. So very well done there. Bionic, on the other hand, 6,025 damage, 7 kills, 1,495 base experience. 16 shots fired, 13 hits, 12 pens, most of it from a distance of more than 300. No, not most of it, I lie. Most of it actually from a distance of less than 300 meters. 5 hits received, of which only 1 penetrated and 4 did not. Seriously, I have no idea how he managed to make the armor work there. 10 enemy tanks damaged, of which he killed 7. And 18,000 credits made. With a premium account, that would have been 42,000 credits. Very nice amount of experience earned as well, and that ended up being a pretty sweet game. So very well done to BionicTree there. Hope you guys enjoyed that game. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and if you're interested, send in a replay of your own. And I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.